Oh, hi there. It's been a while since I did a review, so I figured I'd do this. If you're wondering why I ain't doing Gen 4, 3, 4, or 5 yet, this is just kind of the spur-of-the-moment thing. Okay, so, let's talk new innovations. The Mega Evolutions. Basically, you got a bracelet, you got a Mega Stone, you make certain Pokemon go poof, and bring out their true potential, or some shit like that. There's Pokemonomy, where you can basically grope your Pokemon to make them like you more. There's Super Training, to basically make their IVs go up. There's the Wonder Trade, which is basically the most addictive thing Pokemon has ever done. You can say the gambling in the old games was addictive. No, fucking Wonder Trade is addictive. Because you never know what you're going to get. Mainly breeding rejects. I have gotten so many Froakies that I stopped caring about Froakie. Which is sad, because it was my starter. Speaking of starters, you have Fennekin the Fire Fox, Froakie the Toad, and Chespin the Hedgehog. So, other big new things is the introduction of a new type. Fairy type. Fairy type Pokemon! Fairy type Pokemon! Fairy type Pokemon! Huh. If I ever do that again, hit me with an oar. Please. Yeah, so fairies are real, and what better way to introduce them than Kalos, a place based off France. And fairies kill dragons. Now, there's only about 70 new Pokemon, I think, so far, and we know of at least 3 rumored event Pokemon. One of them has the volcanic water thing has supposedly been found in the the power plant or some shit like that, but we'll not talk about rumors yet. When this first came out, there was an event to get a Torchic with a Blazikenite so that you could get Mega Blaziken. Now the event has long since ended, and I have it, so fuck you. No, kidding. I'm sure everybody who was going to get the game got it and has it. If not, I'm sure Gen 3 remakes are right around the corner, because that's what everybody's saying. But Kalos is huge. Full 3D, by the way. 3D. Great thing to bring the games into. And you can now move diagonally. And there's roller skates, and there's a lot more oomph. It's much more pretty, but I feel that the story was rather bland. Basically, you were traveling around Kalos to learn, for Professor Sycamore, the suave new professor, what it's like, what Mega Evolutions is, and along the way you have your quote-unquote friends, Shauna, some fat kid, some Justin Bieber look-alike, and the opposite protagonist that you didn't choose as your friends slash rivals. You go around, you do stuff. There's this guy. His name's Lannister or something like that. He seems very trustworthy too. He's like this really great, trustworthy dude. I'm not kidding. The guy's a genius. And there's Team Flare, and they are fabulous. Turns out he's the leader of them, if you haven't guessed. And oh, one of the Elite Four actually used to work for Team Flare. But the Elite Four are pretty easy. I got them in the first go. This game seems to be designed to be the easiest thing yet. Like, you get the XP share right out the gate, and now it goes to all of your Pokemon, unless or if you turn it off. And so it's very easy to grind your Pokemon, because all you gotta do is battle, and all your Pokemon get experience. You don't have to grind. You shouldn't have to grind. It's a lot of rehashing of the old Pokemon, which is really fun. The new ones aren't very... There's some unique ones, but not many. The story, again, takes the turn where Leicester reveals he's... Sylvester, Leicester, whatever the fuck his name is, reveals he's evil and basically wants to fuck over the world with a giant fuck you cannon. Then you go and you get your legendary. In my case, I got Yveltal, the evil Lugia Pokemon. It's actually the death Pokemon, but whatever. Then, after that's all said and done, you can do the Elite Four, blah, blah, blah. The gym leaders are rather bland this generation. None of them really stuck out for me. And then after that, you can go and do, like, the Friend Safari, which is your friend codes determine which, like, you'll get 2 until they beat the Elite Four, and then you'll get 3. And then there's a Looker side quest where Looker from Gen 4 and Gen 5 comes back. Apparently his Krogunk, his sense died, which is sad. Oh, and there's also this weird subplot about the King of Kalos, who basically committed mass genocide because his Pokemon died. And now he's a homeless man. A giant homeless man. And, oh, and your mother was a Rhyhorn rider, which really, really is disturbing, because if you've seen the back of a Rhyhorn, that does not look comfortable to sit on. Oh, and you can ride Pokemon through environmental hazards in this. But pretty much everything you need is given to you before you need it. This is probably the easiest generation to date. I should talk about the game-breaking glitch if you didn't have the patch. If you saved in Lumio City in the right spot, you could brick your game. Now, I hear there is a way to fix this, and eventually they did release a patch that you could download and you just fix it. So that's not to worry about anymore. Unless if you get the game new, I suppose, unless or if they've installed it in the newer batches. I don't really know much about video game construction or shit like that. But there's a few other things, like a bunch of Pokemon got reclassified. Again, the Mega Evolutions, and there's a lot of other fun little things that you can do here and there, like character customization. You can buy clothes. You can make yourself look suave as fuck. Clothes are expensive as fuck, though, so you don't want to buy a bunch of them. But again, money is not an issue because you get so much payout. The game is the trainers that you fight are so easy. The sky battles are a pain in the ass, though. Don't do them because the sky battles always. There, now I don't have to slouch and I can talk to you better. Basically, again, sky battles. There's one who has an Emolga. How the fuck are you supposed to deal with that? Also, several new things. Like if you catch a Pokemon with a Pokeball, you still get experience. And 2 Pokemon that evolve unique. Well, 3 Pokemon that evolve uniquely. Eevee now becomes Selvion, whatever the fuck its name is, after you play with it in Pokemonomy, and then it has a Fairy-type move on it. And then it levels up. Or some shit like that. In K, only the little squid Pokemon, that only evolves if you flip your 3DS upside down when it hits level 30. And Pancham, I believe that's the first one, only evolves if there's another Dark-type Pokemon in your party, aka that Dark-type Pokemon was a bad influence on him. Now, a few other things, like, again, back to the Wonder Trade system. It's a blessing and a curse. I hear of people who go out of their way to do nice things, like Pokemon that have really low catch rate. Oh, Horde Pokemon, Horde battles. There's like, you get like a bunch of Pokemon that you can fight at once. There's just so much to talk about in this new generation. But Horde battles, you'll get a bunch of Pokemon you have to fight at once, and if you encounter a horde of Seviper and there's a Zigzagoon in it, they will attack that fucker. If there is a horde of Zigzagoon and a Seviper in it, they will attack that fucker. Same thing with Durant and Heatmore, because those Pokemon hate each other. Now, again, back to the Wonder Trade. I hear people who have Pokemon that have low catch rate, like they caught them and they're breeding them just so they can send them out and be nice, and the whole Pokemon Bank debacle. Basically, Pokemon Bank is an app designed for the 3DS that is going to allow you to take your Pokemon from your Gen 5 and bring them to Gen 6. Unfortunately, they released it right after Christmas, so everybody had eShop cards. Everybody wanted Pokemon Bank. And it overtaxed from what I hear, it overtaxed the server, just like completely destroyed the Nintendo eShop and shit. And now they're like, just keep apologizing, oh, it's coming, it's coming. I hear it's coming in the end of February to Japan. But because it was up and running for a few hours, there were plenty of people who were actually able to transfer Pokemon up. In fact, I believe the people who already have it could continue using it, if I'm remembering this correctly, but I'm not sure. And so I have friends who get Pokemon that are coming from Japan that basically, oh, I was able to get all of my starters up from Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4. I'm going to mass breed them and send them out over Wonder Trade so other people get the chance to have them. I've been hearing stories like that all over the place, that people are using the Wonder Trade for good instead of just the evil of shit throwing out their breeding rejects. Another thing that I believe I neglected to mention is, I'm trying to think of stuff I may have neglected to mention. Oh, the Mega Evolution Stones. Some of them are in X, some of them are in Y. For instance, Aggron and Tyranitar. Theirs are in opposite games. So if you want a Mega Aggron but you don't have the game he's in, you're going to have to trade someone with that Mega Stone. The Looker side quest is really just taking down the rest of Team Flare. As for the gym leaders, there's a bug type, first female bug type trainer, Grant the rock type trainer, a fighting type trainer, an electric type trainer who's Clement, who is traveling with Ash in the anime. After this, I kind of just lost interest in them because they just kind of kept falling like dominoes. I know there's a grass one, Psychic 1, Olympia, and then there's the final Ice guy. And then the Elite 4, there's a Water, a Steel, a Fire, and a Dragon, and then finally the leader uses kind of a mixture, but her big thing is her Gardevoir, which becomes a Mega Gardevoir. There's a bunch of other stuff you can do around Lumio City, like you can take a cab, you can go to cafes. Also, there's now. Actually, let's get into the rumors, the Gen 3 remake rumors that are all over the place. There's the old Mr. Briny with his Pico and one thing. There's Shauna saying, "I want to go to." Actually, that's a different rumor altogether. There's the fact that we got the Mega Blaziken and it was only going to be available for a limited time. There's the berry mechanic is back, the growing berries that was in the Gen 3 games. So there's a lot of stuff that make people say, they're going to re-release Gen 3, they're going to remake it. And I would be fine with that, because I would actually like to see that. Because those guys are now going to be the harder ones to get, because before it was just you had to bring them up to Gen 4, then bring them over to Gen 5. Now it's Gen 4, Gen 5, Pokebank, if it ever comes out, Gen 6. And there's rumors that the next game, the Z, if you will be in an entirely new region, because there's a trainer who says, I'm not from this region. I'm from a different region that is none of the ones you've ever... Well, he basically names all the regions, but he's like, I'm not from any of them. And then Shauna says at the end, before she trades you basically a Pokemon born of her starter, that I want to go see a whole new region. And then there's the ghost of a Hex Maniac or something like that. There's really cute, creepy girls, but there's a lot of fan art on them because apparently a lot of people find them cute. And she says, you are not the one. So there's a lot of potential to go into the Z version. Also, Blue gets referenced from Gen 1, and a few other guys, they make a lot of references to previous gens, and unfortunately the English translation is filled with fucking memes. Psychic says over 9,000, there's a girl on Victory Road who says my body is ready. Thank you, Reggie.